ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपास्महे. Hey Krishna, you took the form for each one of these gopikas, so you can definitely help us. Now Bhagavan is looking at Annaswami. What is the comparison between my dearest gopikas? Gopikas are people who are filled with devotion. They have no expectations from me. They want me. They don't want anything from me. So they are epitome of devotion. So I took a form for each one of the gopikas. But now what are you saying? Ati vela tayatava durvishahai anuvela kritaihi aparada shataihi. In every single time of the day, we make, shata, thousands of sins. So that bhara we are not able to handle. Oh Bhagavan, therefore you help me out, right? So now I'm not speaking about the number of you who are coming to seek my refuge. That is still okay. But the intensity of the sins, you think I can resolve all this? Every second you keep making mistakes, you come to me, you surrender to me, you want me to wipe off all the mistakes. This is not possible. So your precedence is not valid, says Bhagavan. Now, Annan Swami is worshipping Bhagavan Sri Venkatesha. He saw Krishna there in the same Sanctum Sanctorum. He's seeing Bhagavan Sri Rama. It is a very unique vigraha of Bhagavan Rama. He's along with all the parivaras there. In fact, there Rama is supposed to be standing in the Tribhanga posture, the usual posture which we say for Krishna, right? Rama is standing in that Tribhangi posture, bent in three different ways. Usually Krishna, when he plays the flute, he stands that way. Here Rama holding his bow is standing like that inside the Tirumala Hills. So now our Annan Swami is seeing this beautiful Rama. He says, there is a precedence, ho Rama. You are not only Venkata Krishna, you are Venkata Rama also. Bhagavan Sri Rama and Venkatesha are not two different things. You are one and the same. So I have a precedence now. So what is the precedence? Abhirama. Rama is Bhagavan Sri Rama's name. Rama means the one who creates happiness, who delights people. Ramayati iti Rama, right? So Abhirama makes it a superlative degree. We are prefixing with Abhi, which means that this is enhanced. So Bhagavan, is extremely captivating, supremely delightful. So it is at a superlative degree. Abhirama. Gunakara. He is a repository of all the auspicious qualities. Akara means the dwelling place of what? Guna. Gunakara. Bhagavan is the dwelling place of all the gunas, auspicious qualities. In fact, Akara, we even call an ocean as Akara because all the precious jewels, everything resides in the ocean, right? So ocean is also called as Akara. Here it is Gunakara, the dwelling place or the repository of all the auspicious gunas. Who are you? Dasharate. Dasharathasya apatyam punman Dasharati iti vadamaha. Dasharate. So he is referring to Bhagavan Sri Rama, who is the son of Dasharatha. What is he? Jagadeka Danurdara. The one who is second to none in wielding the bow. Dhiramate. Once you take a sankalpam, irrespective of the situation, you will never be shaken. Your mati is dhira. You're so clear in taking your drida sankalpas. Dhiramate. Bhagavan Sri Rama is an example for each one of us in many facets of life. So if we want to know how to lead our life, Bhagavan Sri Rama is a leading example. In fact, there is a Pasuram, Alvar Pasuram, which says, Ketpar Keshavan Kirti Allal Matrum Ketparo, which means if you want to listen to the beautiful Leelas, listen to Bhagavan Krishna's Leelas. Ketpar, whoever listens, Keshavan Kirti, when you want to enjoy or be filled with the greatness, listen to Keshava's Kirti because he's done so many Leelas from his childhood. If you want to learn, if you want to follow, if you want to see a person who is leading by example, Karpar Ramabirane Allar Matrum Karparo. Other than Rama, do you have anybody else to learn from? So he leads by example, it says. Rama is so clear about the vow he's taken. He's decided that he's going to go to the forest because his father had given that boon. Now he's gone there. Now what happens? Everybody follows him all the way to the forest. The entire Ayodhya, is now right there following him. Vashishta Maharishi, even Kaikeyi Mata and other mothers of his, Bharata says that, he's not going to rule at all. So everything is completely different from what it was when Bhagavan Sri Rama had taken the oath. But he had promised his father that he's going to do it. Now, what should he do? Given an opportunity, people want to go back, right? Why spend 14 years in the forest? We can as well go back. Now the scenario has changed, so we can adapt to it. Bhagavan Rama was very clear. He said, he spoke very, very politely that everybody had to agree. There were no hard feelings for anyone, but then he ensured that his travel continued. So how to say a no is something which we should learn from Rama. Because Ramayati iti Ramaha, he creates delight in the minds of people. He brings joy to everybody. Having said all this, Purvabhashi cha Ragavaha, Madhubhashi cha Ragavaha, Mridubhashi cha Ragavaha, Manjubhashi cha Ragavaha, the way he speaks is so admirable, so pleasant, everything. But then he said no. He didn't accept to anything what everybody said. But he still got the name as Mridubhashi, Manjubhashi, everything. So that is Rama's greatness. So we can learn how to say a no, which many of us struggle in many situations. Oh, what will they think? Will I hurt them? And all that, right? Not if we follow Rama's footsteps. So this is one of the examples. Raghunayaka. Bhagavan Sri Rama was the leader, a central person in the entire Raghu Vamsha. So Raghunayaka, a leader in the Raghu dynasty. Here, another reason for mentioning it as Raghunayaka Rama is because prior to this, there was Parashurama also. And both of them were there during the Treta Yuga Avatara of Bhagavan, right? So let there be no confusion. I'm speaking about Sri Rama, he says. So Raghunayaka Rama, it is not about Bhargava Rama, it is about Raghunayaka Rama. So to ensure that his surrender is to Raghunayaka Rama, this entire explanation is done. Raghunayaka Rama. Rameshaha. Rameshaha. Ramayaha. Ishaha. The Lord of Rama. Rama is Mata Mahalakshmi. So Mata Mahalakshmi's Lord, husband is Ramesha. So here Bhagavan is Sita's husband, who is addressed to as Ramesha. Vibho. Vibho means omnipresent. He is present everywhere. He is all-pervading. He is Vibho. Ramesha Vibho. Varado Bhava. Bestow or the boons, the blessings on us. Hey Deva, you can do it like a play. Div Kridayam, we say, right? So all this is nothing but a sport for you. It is not going to be difficult for you. It's a leela. So Deva, Varado Bhava, Deva, Daya Jalade. Jalade. Jalade is ocean. Daya Jalade. You are an ocean of what? Of Daya. So with this ocean of Daya, please give us all the boons. Bestow upon us all the boons. Oh Bhagavan. Okay. So let's go into the details of this. Abhirama Gunakara Dhasharatehe. Abhirama. Bhagavan is so beautiful, so captivating that he brings joy on those who even see him. When a person sees, a lot of these feeling of happiness comes because of Bhagavan Rama's Murti. Even when we see the Vigraha Murti of Bhagavan Rama, there is some kind of pleasantness which, comes to us. Go have a darshan of Ram Lalla. What kind of happiness that brings, right? So, Abhirama, he's so charming, so pleasant. So, we can feel that when we have a darshan of his Divyamangala Vigraha itself. It does not stop there. Gunakara Dasharate. Not only in his appearance, but in his qualities, he is so charming. Gunakara. So what kind of qualities did Bhagavan Sri Rama display? He was truthful, he was compassionate, he was filled with valor. We can keep saying a lot of these gunas of Bhagavan. Some of the prominent gunas which we've been explaining till now about Sri Venkatesha are also applicable to Bhagavan Sri Rama. For example, the Saushilya. Bhagavan mixes with everybody irrespective of who they are. We said, right? Even to Devas or to the cowherd women or to the parrots or to, the bees, everyone, Bhagavan was the same, right? If you look at Ramavatara, Bhagavan Sri Rama, be it Vanaras, be it the sages, be it the squirrel, he mingled with everyone the same way. So, Sushilata was there, where he did not see, who is higher, who is less, nothing. He doesn't know the differences at all. So, that quality of Bhagavan Rama, in spite of being the ultimate Paramatma, the way he moved with everybody is his Saushilya quality. Vatsalya, the quality where even the mistakes of devotees are considered as a beautiful, good quality. So converting the negatives of the devotee into positive quality is the Vatsalya Guna. We spoke about how a cow licks clean the calf soon after the calf is born, right? So the quality of a cow towards its calf, towards the Vatsa, it's Vatsalya. So that is obviously evident in Bhagavan Sri Rama. Saulabhya, his accessibility to coming down, taking an avatara and being available to us. Like how Venkateshwara is now waiting for all of us in Tirumala. Bhagavan Sri Rama came here. He was accessible to anybody who wanted to approach him. He went all the way to Dandakaranya to help the rishis. He went all the way to Ahalya to help her. He went all the way near Sabari Mata to give her the blessings. He gave moksha to Jatayu. All these are the Saulabhya quality of Bhagavan. Of course, he's the ultimate Bhagavan, so the Paratva quality is there. So all these are some of the important qualities which we've been seeing till now, which are applicable to Bhagavan Sri Rama. But if we look at Valmiki Ramayana, the beginning of Valmiki Ramayana itself is a discussion about the gunas of Bhagavan, right? So Valmiki Maharishi is now interacting with sage Devarishi, Narada. So he says, I have a few questions to ask you. And he's posing 16 questions. Kaunasmin sampradam loke, gunavan kascha viryavan, dharmagnyascha, kritagnyascha, satyavakyo, dridavrataha, charitrena chako yuktaha, sarvabhuteshu kohitaha, vidwan kaha kaha, samartascha, kascheka priyadarshanaha, आत्मवान को जितक्रोधः द्युतिमान को अनुसूयकः कस्य बिभ्रति देवाः जातशोषस्य संयुगे. Basically, 16 different questions are asked, asking Devarishi Narada, at this point of time, in this present loka, is there one person in whom all these qualities are there at the same time? He had to be speaking the truth. He should be a very, very powerful person. He should have the conviction in his mind. So a lot of such qualities are mentioned. Usually for one person to have one quality itself is a big ask. That itself is a big challenge. So a person having all these 16 qualities in him, in this world, at this point of time, is there anybody like that? So Sage Narada says, there's only one person because it's a big ask. And that only person is Bhagavan Sri Rama. Okay. And that was the birth of the entire Ramayana, where every single chapter in Ramayana explains some quality or other of Bhagavan Sri Rama. Just like how in the Venkatesha Stotra, we are enjoying the different qualities attributed to Bhagavan Sri Venkatesha, all the gunas. In every sloka, there are gunas mentioned, right? Similarly, Valmiki Ramayana mentions about the qualities of Bhagavan Sri Rama. So starting is like this. Let's just jump all the way to the final chapter, the Pattabhishekam of Bhagavan Sri Rama. what happens? Rama Pattabhishekam happens. The Acharyas explain that it is not the Sita Rama, the physical murtis to whom the Pattabhishekam is happening. It is the Guna Pattabhishekam. The Pattabhishekam, the crowning is happening to the qualities of Bhagavan Sri Rama. It seems Gunabhishekam, Guna Pattabhishekam of Bhagavan Sri Rama is happening. Here, this sloka starts by saying, hey Bhagavan, who are you? So everything is at a superlative level. Okay. Abhi Rama Gunakara Dasharate, you are born as Dasharatha's son. You are Gunakara, you are an ocean of all these gunas, oh Bhagavan Sri Rama. Jagadeka Dhanuldhara Dhiramate. So you are unparalleled wielder of the bow. So here the bow stands for many different things. It can also stand for his Dridata in the Dharma. He is righteous. He went to exile and he faced so many difficulties there, right? Ravana abducted his wife. So at that point, he was still clinging on to his Dharma. He is holding on to the Dharma and he fought the war against Ravana. Ravana and all the other demons there, they were all Mayavins. They could fight at night. They could hide and they could, shower all the weapons on all the Rama's troop. Rama will fight only during the daytime. He will use only his bow and arrow to fight. So he was still going by all his niyama palanas. So he was following his dharma irrespective of the situation. Anand Swami is having a discussion with Bhagavan. And Bhagavan said, the intensity of your sins is too high, so I can't handle it, right? So the earlier time, when the question was about the Gopikas, the precedence was about Gopikas, the explanation was, hey Bhagavan, you are having a Venu in your hand. When you played your Venu, all the Gopikas were attracted to you and they came to you. But now we are speaking about the intensity of the sins of people who come to visit you, right? And Bhagavan is Eka Dhanuldhara. That is the explanation. So what is the significance of using Dhanuldhara here? Okay. When the devotees are so pure and they are looking at Bhagavan with love, Bhagavan plays the Venu. He is looking back at them with Venu. But when people are filled with all the negative things, like Ravana, Bhagavan still wants to protect them. He does not want to destroy anybody per se, right? But how does he protect them? Is he going to protect them with the loving, affectionate flute? Or is he going to protect them by using his Dhanu? That is the question. So is it an ornament or a weapon? That depends on the receiver. It does not depend on Bhagavan. So how are we to Bhagavan will determine it. In fact, Hanumanji saw Bhagavan's bow and arrow as a beautiful ornament itself. Those did not look like weapons to Hanumanji. Even if Bhagavan Sri Krishna came in front of Hanumanji with a flute, he will say, no, I want to see you only as Rama. Come with your bow and arrow, right? So this bow and arrow became a beautiful ornament for Bhagavan. And if it is Rama, the identification is only through the bow and arrow. Can we visualize a Ramar without a bow and arrow? No, then it's not Rama, right? So even if Rama is a Lalla and he's installed in Ayodhya as Ram Lalla, we still have to see a bow and arrow in his hand. Only then it is Bhagavan Sri Rama for us, right? Even as a child, he should sport it. So Dhanuldhara, number one, becomes an identification for Bhagavan Sri Rama. To ardent devotees like Kulashekara, Alvar, Hanumanji, this is a ornament. So if we go to temples, they also have this Ratnangi Seva, they will decorate the bow of Bhagavan with all the beautiful precious stones. Because it is an ornament for the devotees. And we feel so protected when Bhagavan is having his Dhanush in his hand. But for enemies like Ravana, it becomes a weapon. That weapon is again used to protect them from doing further evil, to ending the negative things that they do. So it does not really destroy them, it destroys the negatives in them. From his childhood, if you look at Bhagavan Sri Rama's life, you will see the Dhanus has always been with Bhagavan Sri Rama. Vishwamitra Maharishi is taking Bhagavan Sri Rama to protect his yajna. Bhagavan uses his bow and arrow. Then to destroy the 14,000 asuras in one yama, Bhagavan uses his bow and arrow. Even to get married to Sita Mata, a bow was used. Think about it. If he had not, used the bow, how will Rama and Sita get married? So bow and arrow was used. To get the friendship of Sugriva, Bhagavan Sri Rama had to use his arrow and target 7 different trees, at the same time. So he had to prove his work by using his bow and arrow. And of course, to cross the ocean, Samudra did not oblige Bhagavan Sri Rama till the time he took his bow and arrows. So even to cross the Samudra, his bow and arrow was useful. Finally, of course, we know during the war with Ravana, Bhagavan had to use his bow and arrow. Everywhere throughout the Ramayana, the bow was giving the company to Bhagavan Sri Rama. So Kodanda Rama, we say, right? So Kodanda Pani, Bhagavan always sports this Kodanda in his hand. So here we are referring to the Kodanda, which can destroy all our sins. Oh Rama, who is a Kodanda Pani, your arrow destroyed so many asuras. Will it not destroy the asuras inside me? So you can definitely protect us. Raghunayaka Rama Ramesha Vibho. Raghunayaka. Now Bhagavan is the person who cares about people in the, he's the Raja, right? So he's the central person in this entire lineage. So he's caring more for his subjects than himself. And that is again time and again proved in Ramayana, where he cares more about his people than himself. And Ramesh, the most beautiful part of this whole thing, he is the Lord of Mata Mahalakshmi. He is the husband of Sita. They both have taken avatara here. They've taken the human forms. But then who is Bhagavan? He is all providing. He is the Vibhu. He is everywhere, omnipresent, all pervading Bhagavan. Because Mata Sita is with him, what happens? He's got this daya quality. Varadobhava Deva Daya Jalade. You are an ocean of compassion. Why? Because Sita Mata is with you. Sita Mata did not want to hurt even the Rakshashis who had done, heinous crimes to her. She was there, absolutely no fault of hers. Ravana had abducted her. But then the Rakshashis there used to torture her verbally, not just physical, verbal abuse, even physical abuse was done to Sita Mata. And when Hanumanji came there, he said, just give me permission. I will destroy these demons, all these Rakshashis. I can just, kill them. Sita says, what is happening to you, O Hanuman? Don't even think of something like that. He's like, why should we not kill? They are torturing you. Why can't I kill them? She says, there's no mistake on their part. How would you punish people who have done no mistakes? He says, they are torturing you. If this is not a mistake, what is a bigger mistake? She says, they are obeying the orders of Ravana. That's all. Tomorrow, if Vibhishana becomes the king, they will obey his orders and they will treat me like a princess, right? So they are just going to go by what their king says. So don't kill them. These Rakshashis need protection, and Sita Mata protects those who were harming. So that is the kind of, heart that Sita Mata has. So here, because she is next to Bhagavan, Varadobhava Deva Daya Jalade, Bhagavan is now like an ocean of Daya. So what you have to do? Give us all these boons. Oh Bhagavan, give us the boon of Mokshananda. Give us the greatest of all the boons. Oh Bhagavan, help us get rid of all our sins which are holding us here. Oh Bhagavan, Varadobhava Deva Daya Jalade. So cleanses, water cleanses things, right? So the ocean can cleanse us of all the sins. And Bhagavan's ocean is like filled with daya, and he can cleanse us with all these auspicious things and help us get rid of all the unwanted things. So here, a very interesting thing is the ocean does not distinguish as to what comes in contact with it, right? From the ocean, we get precious gems. From the ocean, we get, poisonous things also. From the ocean, there are so many things. Ultimately, even all the rivers are going to go and get, into the ocean only. There's a beautiful sloka which says, Akashat patitam toyam yata gacchati sagaram sarvadeva namaskaram keshavam prati gacchati. The water bits fall from the akasha, the raindrops. Akashat patitam toyam yata gacchati sagaram. Ultimately, it is all destined to go to the ocean, sagaram. Sarvadeva namaskaram keshavam prati gacchati. Whoever we worship, it all goes back to Keshava, right? Like that, whatever we do, ultimately we surrender it to you, Ho Bhagavan. So you are the Dayanidhi, you are the ocean. You are the ocean who's filled with compassion. So help us get rid of all the negativities and cleanse us, give us all the boons. Ho Bhagavan. Abhirama Gunakara Dasharathe Jagadek Dhanurdhara Dhiramate रघुनायक राम रमेश विभो वरदो भवदेव दया जलधे